Hello, here we are. We're finally live.
We are.
Technical difficulties beyond our control happen sometimes. What are you gonna do? Anyway, I'm excited for today. I've got some information. We're doing a little energy forecast for the year. Um, Channeled messages, Oracle, Tarot. We already said we were gonna read cards, and I'm excited for that. And I feel like this past week, I've had some interactions that really gave me some insight into what's going on and what we all can kind of do to contribute to positive energy right now, because my gosh, we just need it. We just need it so bad. So I found it really interesting. So to start with, I found it really interesting that I have had interactions with a couple of people, more than a couple actually, who have had either dreams or meditations, like past life visions of some kind or another, where they were interacting with other people who were very familiar to them, probably even in their current lives, but that were very different from them. And they were either a different class or a different caste, a different race, a different color, a different creed, whatever, just different. And how when they left these visions, these meditations, these dreams, that they came back understanding that that's okay. That it's okay that we're all different. We're meant to be different. And even though right now the differences amongst a lot of us are so obvious, what we believe, what we think, how we feel, what we're willing to accept, what we're not willing to accept, what we're willing to do and not willing to do, it's important to remember that everyone, and this came actually straight from, I had a reading with Val, who is now channeling the father and the mother, and that's really all I can talk about until we have her on. But it was a really amazing conversation, and the idea that we should all remember that the reason people do what they do, the reason people feel the way that they feel, the reason people vote the way they vote, is because of their circumstances, surroundings, their DNA, their upbringing.
Yep, their upbringing, right?
Their upbringing. Yep. And so if we, instead of trying to spend all our time figuring out why, if we, instead of trying to figure out why people have different opinions from ourselves, we just really try to embrace acceptance and gratitude that we live in a place where we can all feel different ways, everybody would have a much easier time. And the thing of it, what's really interesting to me is that the information I'm getting is that when we see something we're incensed about and we're compelled to share it on social media, or, really have these volatile discussions with our friends who feel the same way that we do, what we're actually doing is contributing to the energy of that division, whether we realize it or not. We're feeding that energy. Mm-hmm. And so this really speaks to that concept where I say, in order to spread the light, you need simply walk in it.
Yep.
So we should not be, I'm not saying be uninformed. I'm not saying be unaware. I'm not even saying don't fight back. What I'm saying is be mindful about how and what you're putting out in the world. And just walk in the light. Just walk in the light. Oh my gosh. Yep. Anyway, just walk in the light. Walk in the light to spread the light. So that's what we're talking about today, is just how we can all manage to stay civil and walk in gratitude, walk in the light, and just be together in a way that, we all get from point A to point B with a minimum of fear and a minimum of anger and a minimum of upset and a minimum of whatever all the other words are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I have something that happened, just yesterday. So, I was kind of sort of doom scrolling, right? I was reading stuff that was coming across my feed, and it was traumatic and it was very disturbing. And I was getting further and further into, oh my God, not good. That's not good. That's not good. And at that exact same moment, after I'd been doing that for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, one of my best friends texted me or sent me a message, a Facebook message, and she said, "Life is so beautiful. You're not going to believe what I just realized." And she kind of went on and described something that was just really amazing that had happened to her. You know, she's definitely in the woo-woo world, so it was very, very metaphysical. And she said, "Life is so beautiful." And I'm like, "You are absolutely right." And I immediately shut off. I closed the annoying stuff I was reading, and I realized life is beautiful. And if you focus on the good, good will come to you. And if you focus
absolutely.
on the evil and the disturbing things, that's how you're going to feel.
Well, I mean, and that's the idea, right? That is their plan.
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy theory lover at all. They make me angry most of the time.
Yeah.
However, there are those that are well suited by all of us being at each other's throats, and that's what those posts are all about.
Yeah.
So every time you view it, every time you read it, every time you share it, every time you repost it, you are feeding the energy of that which would divide us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So shutting it down, not doing it, kind of stops them in their tracks if you think about it. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing. I don't doom scroll.
Yeah, I rarely do, but when I get, it might be an interesting article that, like, oh no.
There's nothing interesting. And I have a couple of people that just seem to, they're blowing off steam, and I know they do it on Facebook. So I just snooze them. I don't unfriend people unless they're totally,
right. Unless they deserve it.
Well, completely, just completely at odds. And, and really, they're not really friends most of the time anyway. Right. But, people need to do what they need to do. And the more we can accept others for all their foibles and all the way, however they feel, the easier it's going to be to get through the next couple of years is what the astrologers are. The other thing that's really interesting to me, because a lot of people focus on the idea that, the patriarchy was here and then the matriarchy started taking over, and now the patriarchy is fighting back. And what a lot of people aren't realizing is that they really need to be working together. It shouldn't be one or the other.
Yeah.
It's the energy combined. I mean, no matter how you slice it, it takes one and one of each to make another human, period. That it just is what it is. So we need both, and we need balance. And I think that would really be helpful if we kind of learn to appreciate the idea of balance.
Yeah, that is true.
Anyway, okay, so let's read some cards. How about that? That'll be more fun.
That's a great idea.
Okay. Oh, by the way, if you're listening in, we really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and like. And it's really interesting. What I've noticed is that if I put the live stream up very shortly before we go on air, we basically, wind up seeing our friends online. And if I put it up a couple of days or even a day in advance, we seem to get more of the, thank you very much. We seem to get more of the kind of, a little bit strange.
Yep.
Strange.
I'm on it.
Yeah. So it's all good. I mean, it is what it is.
Yep.
That's, just can't let it be a distraction. So anyway, so I think right now, let's just pull a card. I am using the Colette Baron Reed deck, Wisdom of the Oracle, and I like it because it's the pocket deck and it fits my hands real easy. Oh,
Good.
yeah, that's New Moon in Aquarius today is about building community, which has space for diversity. It's also Lunar New Year, so Happy New Year,
It is
John.
Lunar New Year,
The
and
year of the snake.
I am in a
which
house of Lunar New Year's celebrators.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so we're doing all the festivities.
Oh, well, that sounds like fun.
Yep. Special meals, special gifts, conversations, all that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, that, we all need more of that, right? Celebrations and gratitude and light. And thank you to our resident astrologer for reminding us about the new moon in Aquarius today.
Woohoo.
When we used to hear that song about the age of Aquarius, it always sounded like it was going to be a wonderful thing. And nobody told us back then when the fifth dimension was singing it. Nobody told us back then when the fifth dimension was singing it that there was going to be a little bit of dissonance before the peace started guiding the planet.
Indeed.
Anyway, Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, published by Hay House. That's what I'm using. And how about if we just draw one card and see what we get? What can we all do to bring some ease and joy into our lives? What can we focus on to bring some ease and joy into our lives? How does that sound?
Sounds good. I have one.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. See, a day that they eat dumplings and don't do chores. That's like a great day.
That is true, Deborah.
And I do love dumplings.
Yep, that's 100% it. It's harder when you're in a country that doesn't celebrate it as a country. When I lived over there in the Far East, man, you think Christmas is festive. Holy cow. Chinese New Year is just over the top.
I can only imagine.
Yep. Plus you get to blow things up with fireworks. It's just like...
All right, then. I'd rather go for the dumplings. Thank you very much. Anyway.
Plenty of those too.
Okay, you said you have a card?
Yeah, I got a card. So I am using the Radley Valentine, another tarot deck, and his is the Animal Guides Tarot. And so the card I pulled was the Four of Fire, which is also known as the Four of Wands. And the animal for this card is the otter. And true to form, Radley puts the meaning of the card right on the card. Here's what it says. It is time to kick back, relax, and celebrate all that you have. Joy rises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. So gratitude, being thankful for what you have, and joy arising out of that. So I think that's wonderful.
Oh, wow. How cool is that? New York State passed a resolution for the Lunar New Year to be an official school holiday for all New York schools, K through 12. That's amazing.
All right. It's good things start and they spread across from the coasts in. So
yeah, there you go.
Within some time, we should be able to see that happening around here. The Midwest always gets it last, but hey, we'll get it.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're getting Yingling, so that there is that. Anyway, okay. Okay, the issue, though, of course, with the Pocket Oracle deck is that it is small, which means the words are small. Oh, look at this. A leg up. This is it. This is the message, isn't it? Helping one another out. What can we do to bring some ease and joy into our life? Give each other a leg up. That means no matter who, right?
Yep.
No matter who you're talking to, no matter who you're with. It doesn't mean you have to go out and make friends with everybody, and people who are polar opposites of you. It just means walk in the light, be
Yep.
kind, hold the door, say thank you, offer gratitude, or assistance, or just
be a good
be
person.
polite, be a good person. There's so many things that we could do for one another, and you're
real simple stuff.
It's and the thing of it is, I often think of it in one way. I always, whenever I go somewhere, when I'm out and about and I'm doing running errands or doing business or whatever, I'm always very careful to be grateful and mean it, offer thanks to somebody. And I often feel like you can see sometimes the angst melt away from a person when you offer a sincere, give a sincere offering of gratitude to a person. But it occurs to me that, and I believe that spreads. I believe that spreads to the next person they interact with. Well, you can do that if you're the one behind the counter or behind the desk.
Mm-hmm.
Kindness sure does go a long way. So I think that sometimes a lot of us are in jobs or positions where people can be challenging and it can be difficult to deal with them. And I think that if we remember that the energy you feed is the energy that remains, then let's try to feed kindness and gratitude.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's try to feed that. I think kindness is a big deal. Okay. Well, that was good. All right. Do we have another question? Does anybody in the audience have a question they'd like us to ask? I'd like to pull a card on, what is the outlook for 2025? Just, the general energy outlook for 2025. What can we expect coming into our lives in 2025? You ready?
I'm ready. Yep.
Go ahead.
All right. So this card that I pulled for 2025, Ace of Water. Interesting. So Ace of Water, Ace of Cups, that's like the ultimate creativity card. Here's what it says. And the animal, of course, in Radley's deck is the dove. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romance, the rebirth of a current relationship, or awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. And I think that I think those of us who are needing support and needing to connect with each other are going to find that support and friendship throughout this year. And I think this is what that's talking about.
I think that's really wonderful. So one of the listeners said, even when people are rude, like she was bullied her whole middle school year, she was nice to them even when they were rude. I think that speaks volumes about who you are as a person.
Yeah, that's very, very, that's special. That's hard to do.
It is, but it creates energetic boundaries. Snake energy flows around obstacles like water. Ace of Water connects. Yes.
Nice.
But anyway, back to being nice to people when they're, when they're not nice to you. Even if it doesn't have a direct impact on the particular situation that you're in, sharing that kindness and walking in that light spreads the light. What I got, I had a session this morning and I got some information that the angels, because I was using Kyle Gray's I call it a little deck because it's only got 22 cards.
Oh yeah. Yep. I have that.
Yeah, because we both got it from the
that place.
From the Hay House
subscription box.
Subscription, yeah. That's it. Anyway. Ooh. Forgot to turn the volume down on the ringer. Anyway, the information I got today is that the angels are out there walking amongst in order to spread the energy of light so that people, you know how I feel about interacting with other people's energy without their permission.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't
It's
I
not, you
don't
don't do
think
it.
that's right. I don't think you should read for them. I don't think you should send them energy. I don't think you should access their energy without their permission. I don't want anybody doing it to me, and I don't do it to other people. However, I do believe that you can pray and send beneficial energy to your surroundings without without what's the word? Without going against that rule. That is a boundary of my own, right?
Yep.
So what I'm discovering is that the angels are saying, it's okay, we're here. We are here, we're walking amongst you. We are trying to smooth over the energy. So please help us by also walking in the light. By, you just need to walk in the light to share it, right? Like, that's all there is to it. So I think we should all every now and then shut our eyes and just, try to connect to the angels that are walking around us.
That's really good. I like that a lot.
It's and today from this deck we had and it was interesting because they're counterparts, Amethyst and Zadkiel, who are counterparts. They came in together. They're both part of the Violet Flame, and it's all about transformation and release, and like that's what we all need to do. We need to start releasing the fear and need to start releasing the angst so that we can replace those energies in our lives with love. And love is actually the antidote to fear. Fear is the problem. We are afraid of what the people who are afraid are going to do. And make no mistake, the big sweeping actions that are happening from a fear of something.
Right.
They're fear-driven actions. They're not
absolutely.
just, you know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
So for my part, I think please just try to walk in the light. That's all I can say. Okay, so what card did I get? Again, little tiny words. Oh, look at that. Regeneration. Regeneration. Yes. Take, really, that's transformation, isn't it?
Yep.
And what is more regenerative than, oh gosh. Well, just I'm a disaster. My husband says, I used to say I'm a disaster waiting to happen. And he says, no, you're a disaster in progress. Anyway, if you think about it, I love the idea of what Deborah put out there for us, that snake energy flows around obstacles like water. So this regeneration, the snake energy is very smooth and, because they just flow rather than walking or flying or, do you know what I mean? Like it makes a lot of sense to me. So the idea of, I think we all need to regenerate to some degree, don't we? That whatever everything looks like when we get through this current state, I'm trying to choose my words carefully.
Yes. Era.
Whatever it looks like when we get to the other side of this, it's going to be different. And so it's going to be really important that we all embrace the idea of regeneration, transformation, and release, so that when we all get to the other side, we have kept up with the energy, that we've kept up with the flow, kept up, instead of, the most miserable are people who are trying to hold on to the past. Right? I have people, oh my God, I'd love to go back to the 70s. I just can't stand it here. I'd want to go back to, I don't want to go back to the 70s.
I don't get that.
I don't either, but
I've loved every time period that I've been in.
Me too. And I think that some of their problem is that, life maybe didn't turn out the way that they were hoping, or it didn't, maybe their choices, their zigs and zags didn't produce the results that they thought they might. And so now, it's like they long for an opportunity to go back and, I don't know, perhaps make different choices or do something different. But the truth is, when you come to a place of acceptance that you cannot go back and change the past, you can only change the way you relate to it, life gets so much easier.
Yes.
I'm fine
Yep.
where I am.
Yep.
I mean, there's challenges here where I'm at, you know, in this life right now. We all, you know, I mean, some people, listeners, have heard that, you know, there's cancer in my household, and, you know, things are not always hunky dory, but I'd still rather be where I am.
It's that acceptance that you just said is so key. Like, all right, I see where I am and I accept it. And now what is my action? What is my reaction? What are my thoughts going forward?
Right. And you know, what's interesting, I mean, it just occurs to me that acceptance is an energy as well. You know how I've talked about sorry, there's so many things happening in, like, there's so much going on around me.
Yep.
But you know how I say that you can channel the energy of joy, you can send the energy of joy, you can connect to the energy of joy and channel it, you know, from your crown down through your arms and up and out and into your heart. That's what I use to combat anxiety, right? The energy of joy. But the truth is, acceptance is also an energy. So bring the energy of acceptance into your life. Make it, because I think acceptance is ease. Right? Acceptance and ease go together. Like,
absolutely.
And really, acceptance is another antidote to fear, if you think about it. It's, you know, because the truth is, anxiety is hard. I mean, anxiety is really hard. It's hard for all of us. And I think some people have an easier time of dealing with it than others. I am not qualified in any way to speak to ways to combat anxiety, except to say that it is, it can be a burden. But I know for myself that the energy of joy helps ease when I feel the energy of anxiety.
So for me, just going back to the energy of acceptance, I'm going to relate it back to my favorite author, Byron Katie, Loving What Is. When I was in the middle of that book, realizing that I wasn't responsible for, you know, person X's feelings, I was like, hey, I don't have to worry that he or she is not happy. I don't have to worry about that. That's not my responsibility. And things got easier. I just was able to accept, oh, so-and-so isn't happy right now. I accept that. Things got so much easier.
Isn't that, I mean, it's really the truth. I saw something today. I'm hoping I can find it real quick.
All right.
But here it is. It's right here. If you understood just how frequently people cope by projecting, you would learn to take absolutely nothing personally.
That's good. That's really good.
Isn't it? You know, I mean, it's and if you think about that, that can inform all of your interactions, all of the interactions you have with other people. I mean, when I think about it, just in the interactions between my husband and myself, you know, well, when he tells me he's not a yes man, but
I would love to be a fly on the wall for some of your conversations, Angie.
It would be.
I can only imagine.
It would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting. But the idea is, I mean, that's really, can you, if you took the time to say, oh, How about let's find some compassion for this person that I'm having an interaction with. I try really hard, I mean, I know people that get bent out of shape about a lot of different things, the way things get handled. I seem to, I mean, really, the pharmacy in my neighborhood where I have to pick up prescriptions seems determined to take me down.
They have a company meeting every morning about that.
I mean, it seems like it, I swear. And then if instead I try and I remember that these people are just trying to do the best they can with what they have, and it's busy and it's crazy and they deal with sick people, it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
It's better for me not to have those angry reactions than it is for me to get incensed about something they did. So what are I mean, everybody's projecting all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what energy do you project out into the world? I try my very best to project love and happiness and acceptance and flow, but some days it gets the better of you.
Today was one of those days,
right? I mean, it's I wish there was some kind of magic bullet answer that we could give people that are listening to say, listen, do this or do that,
mm-hmm.
and it will all be better, I promise. And we can't, there just isn't that.
It is a journey.
It is a journey. And I think, I mean, really one of the big, if you suffer from any kind of anxiety or fear or overthinking or those kind of things, manage your input, right? That would be one huge piece of advice I would give somebody. Manage your input. Okay, you want to know what's going on in the world, but you don't need to watch the news every single day. Okay. JROTC, ROTC, that's what we called it when I was in school, and had to lead PT, I'm guessing physical training, right? And I was so anxious, but the company was saying, don't be nervous. And when people are kind about that, I calm down. That's one reason. It's because if you think about it, what did somebody say to me? What did somebody one time, a teacher said, anxiety is excitement without breath. Right? Anxiety is excitement without breath. So if you can remember that nervousness makes you hold your breath, think about it. If you get anxious and nervous, what's the one thing you forget to do? Breathe.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, people are hyperventilating and everything else when they're anxious, right? So if you can gain control of your breath and turn that anxiety, try to help convert that energy of anxiety into the energy of excitement. And rather than, that's really the question. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
that's so good. Wait, it's just this. It's the difference. What if it goes badly? What if they don't like me? What if I do it wrong? What if I muck it up? What if I screw up? What if it's no good? What if it's this, right? Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And then over here, what if it's amazing? What if it works out exactly the way it's supposed to? What if everyone loves it and they want me to come back?
There's your excitement.
Anxiety and excitement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both speaking the same language, just from a different side of the coin, which of course we all know that, this is a planet of polarity. You cannot transcend polarity. It's required here. It's part of the physical.
You participate in it.
The laws of physics do not, or the laws of physics prevail, right? There is polarity. There's two sides of everything. There's dark and light and good and bad. And, so, wow, that's amazing. So it's a matter of flipping the script in your head.
Mm-hmm. What if this is amazing? What if everybody loves it? Yeah.
Right. I remember, it's funny. I've gone through a lot of different iterations of my work and different ways that I've worked with other people, and hands-on sessions and group sessions and talk show. This is the second we've been, but this show has lasted longer than the other one did. But but the point is, it's always interesting to me when things that I've heard before come back up, and come back up for like, remember, we told you this before. We told you this before. So the idea that if you are really overthinking, or over worrying, it was spend 69 seconds thinking about how wonderful it's going to be. And there's something about the 69 seconds in the neuroscience world that I think, if I remember correctly, and you can't really quote me on it, and I'm not an expert in neurospirituality or anything. I mean, I know people that are, but and the person that taught me this but there's something relevant about the 69 seconds and how it can help your brain create new neural pathways. So it's really important. Okay, bye. It's really important that you try to remember that when you get on that merry-go-round, you need to step off and start it spinning in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point.
Read Deborah's comment. The big one.
If there's news she needs to know, make sure it finds her. Not following the media. I love that.
Yep.
I actually don't. I personally, I never made that actual deal with the angels, but I'm going to, because now I'll cut the news loose altogether. I don't have anything in my feed because I've gotten rid of it all. There's none of it on my, on my social media feeds. I don't see those things.
Yep.
And I snooze people that post them. I don't look at the news on my phone, and I love that. That is so brilliant. Not following the media news allows me to stay focused on higher consciousness.
Yep.
And the truth is, not everybody is cut out to be an activist. Not everybody is cut out to be in the trenches and fighting. But make no mistake, focusing on higher consciousness makes as much of a contribution as anything else. Walking in the light spreads the light, and it's the light that we need right now.
You know what, Angie? That's really, really helpful, because sometimes I feel like, shoot, I'm not doing enough for the greater cause. But by staying focused on higher consciousness, which is something I am doing, that is contributing, isn't it? It
is most certainly contributing. So I guess we have just a little bit of time left, and I will I'm going to spill a little bit of something that I'm working on, and it was something that when I had this session, with Val, my big question was, what does my work look like moving forward? What am I to put out there? I don't know what I want to do. I know my work doesn't look like what it used to look like. I don't want to do individual sessions anymore. I want to be of assistance on a larger scale. And so really what I've come up with their assistance was a gathering of so much of the information that I brought into the world already, and figuring out how to put that together in a way that creates this concept that it is important now that even though we are here to be individual, and so we're the I, that we figure out what our I is so that we can figure out how we interact with the whole. So I actually have a list, and I'll give you a short this is not all of them, but I have these categories that I've been given so that I can help people figure out what category do they fit into.
Okay.
And then from there, that's how we help them figure out how they interact with the whole.
Okay.
And the categories are like sages and warriors, healers, teachers, caregivers, protectors, mediators.
It's like the archetypes.
It actually is. And it's a way to help people. I mean, archetypes are nothing new, right?
No, they've been around a really
they're
long
nothing
time.
new. I mean, you've got them in the Myers-Briggs, you've got them in astrology, you've got them in, well, at least in solar alignment. I don't know about other Akashic record reading formats. So archetypes are nothing new, but I feel like putting these labels, these particular labels on these different archetypes will help a person. If you're a healer, you're not meant to be an activist. You're not meant to be marching, right?
Right.
If you're a mediator, you're not really meant to be marching. You're meant to stand in between the two sides and help them sort it out. If you're a warrior, you're meant to be marching.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that everybody wants to be a warrior, and I think we're all each of these things to some degree or another.
Yeah, right.
And so I think what will be different here, like when you do a Myers-Briggs test or you do an Enneagram, you get one result, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing. You get one thing. And I think that the way I'm going to try to figure out how to make this work is, what is your main thing?
Right. Your predominant archetype.
What are the others? What are the ones that you have a little bit of?
Mm-hmm.
So that a person can figure out. And what the big problem is right now in the world is it's too much hooray for me, too bad for you. There's too much. It's just too much. And so we need to figure out how, as we interact in the whole, how we fit into the whole, and start overlapping one to another, so that we create this foundation of solid light energy. So the lights come back on. Well, I'm not saying that. And the little things run back under the refrigerator. How's that?
Right.
So that's wow. This went fast this time.
I know.
This went fast this time, but I'm really excited about what's coming up for 2025. I'm really hopeful that things will go well in my home so that I can really start focusing on my work again.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's really all I got right now. Should we draw one more card for the end of the show?
Yep.
What's our final message? What's our final message for today?
Let's make this one an action thing.
I love it.
What is your next step?
What is your next step? What is a step you can take? I love it. This one. Okay. Glasses back on. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
So mine, again, from the Radley Valentine Animal Guides Tarot, is the 5 of Fire, also known as the 5 of Wands. And that is, it tends to be kind of it's the card about conflict or the card about competition. And it says here, occasionally you may experience clashes with others. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing goals. Your next step is to try in your life to minimize conflict.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yep. I mean, there's your message right there. That is. I
mean, dang, I don't even need to draw a card. I don't know if this. Is this the one that doesn't go in alphabetical order?
The deck. I don't remember if that's the one or not.
Yeah, I think that's not nice. Oh, there we go.
Deborah says
I
2025.
found the
done.
number. Why can't it be in alphabetical order? I mean, the words are teeny. Okay, so the card is poised, and I think this is, be ready, right? Poised, be ready to fly. Oh, look at that. Essential meaning: being ready, bringing something in light, bringing something to light, being at your best. Excuse me, confidence. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp, and you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. I think that is a perfect message to go right along with yours. Be ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
All this time, all this work we've done up until now has brought us to this place where we can understand how to minimize conflict.
Yeah.
And how we can be ready to embrace whatever new energy is beginning to, when we went into this, and what was it, I guess 2016, really.
Yeah.
I was so reluctant. The energy of the world has been a little funky for quite some time now.
Yep. Decade.
And I must admit that, I was not as far in my journey then as I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I was reluctant and fearful, what it was going to look like. But the truth is, I believe we're all going to be okay. I really do believe that at the core of my being. We're all going to be okay. And the degree to which we are okay depends largely on how we move through and interact with the world. So minimizing conflict and being ready to fly and to create and to move forward is a perfect message for us to end this episode.
Yep. This is spot on.
So that was amazing. Thank you, John, once again.
Thanks, Angie.
For another awesome episode. Thank you, listeners. We have some, our original loyal listener wasn't able to be with us. She's in a group thing today, but she'll be back, and I'm sure she'll listen. So we're gonna say hello, Coventina, at the end of the episode, just so she knows that we didn't forget about her. Meanwhile, time for us to fly. So thank you so very much. We will see you next week. The next 3 weeks, we're going to be starting at 3:30. The time is going to get pushed
3:30 Central Time. Yep.
Yeah, 3:30 Central. So a half an hour later than normal. And I will try to put the episodes up at least a day in advance. Oh yes, dumplings. I love them fried though. I like them a little crispy. I do like them a little crispy with lots of ginger and soy sauce and garlic.
All right.
Dip them
coming right up.
Well, she offered dumplings all around. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We just can't tell you how grateful we are. And we will see you soon. Have a wonderful day.